Hi friends, today we're going to work on the Hello Winter insert for the gorgeous window box. I love this cute little snowman. He is so fun to paint. I am just separating all my pieces based on what colors I want to paint them. I'm going to use a lot of Couture paints. I did decide to use FolkArt matte wicker white paint for the snowman. So I'm going to go in with that and just brush one layer across, and then I'm going to clean out the little hatch marks for his mouth, and then I will let that dry and go in with a second coat. I'm also going to paint the snowflakes and the words in that same wicker white. I decided to go ahead and brush on the words with the paint instead of using a sponge dauber because I already had my brush in the white, but it really does work better to use a sponge dauber on words because you don't have as much paint gooping up in the crevices. I'm going to go in now with FireLight, which is a really pretty deep orange, kind of a burnt orange looking color. I'm going to get that little carrot nose. I'm going to use pitch black on his little button accents. And I'm just going to do one coat of that pitch black because it just goes on so smooth and nice. I'm going to hit the orange again. Then I'm going to go in with Spanish Sunrise for the little star. It's my favorite yellow. All of these are acrylic mineral paints. So I'm going to get 2 layers of that, and I'm going to go back and do another layer on the snowman and all the white. Did get a couple of little paint lumps. Had to kind of get those off. Hitting all those whites, really making sure that I have full coverage on those letters. Sometimes, I guess because I started at the bottom of the letters, it was like the top, the paint had thinned out and it didn't have full coverage. So I just went back and fixed that. Now I'm going to clean out those hash marks for his mouth. Now I'm going to go in with Vintage Flair. Love, love, love this blue color. And I'm going to hit his scarf, and then I'm going to do the word board. I'm going to put 2 layers for that. I did let it air dry, so I'm coming back in for my second layer. And I really thought about using a stencil on this background, but as I was working, I decided not to. I didn't want it to be too busy that you didn't see the words. I have made that mistake before. And now for the tree, I'm going to go in with Basil. And you can see the score lines where the snowman is going to go. So I did not worry about painting all of the area with that basil, just the portions that would show. Making sure I have good coverage on that first layer. Gonna get that dry and get all the blue dried, and then go back in with my second layer. These Couture paints just go on so smoothly. They also have a built-in top coat with those mineral acrylics. It does have just a touch of shine, so I still like to go in with my dead flat top coat and take out that shine. So I am going to hit the back with just 1 coat of the Basil and the Wicker White because it will be visible on the back side of the sign or the window. So I'm just going to do one coat just so it has that finished look. Now I'll hit the snowman on the back with just one coat. Give all that a good dry. And now we're going to start doing our accents. I'm going to start with Sheer Bliss, which is a sheer metallic, and it needs to be shook up a lot. As you can see, I didn't quite shake it up enough, and the sparkle was a little thick there right at his mouth, so I did wipe that back and hit it again. So I'm going to go over all of the white with that Sheer Bliss. Just gives it a really nice sparkle, and that will uphold through the dead flat top coat. And here I am just brushing a little bit of that Sheer Bliss on just to give it a little something behind the words without overpowering those words. Now we're going to work on the tree and a lot of the other pieces. I am using an ink blending sponge and hitting the edges with that same Wicker White, and then I'm going to wipe back some of it that got a little thick, and then I am using my fan brush just to kind of add some more, like it's got some places covered in snow. I'm going to go around all of the pieces that are not white already with that Wicker White just to give it that snowy feel. And then I'm going to kind of brush the white and kind of buff it into that background just so that it does have a little bit of pattern and texture to it, but something that is not going to overpower. Here I am just brushing on some Charlotte Gray onto the snowflakes because one of the snowflakes is going to go on the snowman's face, and I did want it to have a little bit of a color difference. I'm going to use a stippling brush to add Vera at the Ballet to his little cheeks. And then I'm going to use my Posca Pens. I've got a white and a black. I'm going to use the black for his eyeballs. I really thought about tracing over the hash marks on his mouth, but then I was afraid that it would be too bold, so I just left it as the scored lines. And I'm going to add some dots here and there and some lines just to give it a little more character. Making sure I turn the pieces the correct way to do that. And I am going to add a few dots onto the tree. You can't really tell that they're there on the right hand side in the video, but you can see it in person. Now I'm going to go in with my Debi's DIY Dark Wax, and I just got a little bit on my larger brush, and I am going around and adding just a little more dimension to the pieces, especially around the edge of the snowman, because I want it to kind of, you know, pop out from the trees and the window box. Now it's time for our top coat. I love the dead flat. It does make everything a beautiful matte, and you can actually see it happening when you're drying the pieces. It's so cool. So I'm hitting all of the pieces with that. And then I'm going to give that a really good dry. You want it to be totally dry before you start assembling. And now I'm taking my pieces off of my sticky board, making sure that I have that word piece in the right direction, and then cleaning out some of the goopy paint in the little crevices of the words. And I'll also do that later with the snowflake. Lining up everything to make sure that I like how it looks, because it's not too late to fix anything or change it. I love how it sparkles. Just deciding where I want those snowflakes So cute. Now we're gonna go in with our art glitter glue and get everything glued together. You can still see the score lines. The shimmer kind of makes it a little difficult in the light, but they are there. So that's why I'm kind of tilting it and looking, just trying to make sure that I get the words straight and lined up where they go. And the same with the snowman. You can see the score lines. You just have to kind of play with the light a little bit. And there are score lines for his nose and all of the pieces on him. The only thing that doesn't have a score line are his scarf and the snowflakes that go on the trees. So you can kind of position those the way you want it. So now I'm going to glue that snowman onto that, and I want to leave that little piece at the bottom free from the snowman, because that is the part that's going to stick down into the recessed portion of the window box to hold it up. And there you go. I think it's so cute. And there it is in the sun, and then there it is in the window. I love how it turned out. I hope you did too. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Bye.